Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from the Srimad. Oh, today I'm joking. Just catching you guys off guard. So today is the pastime, Gopasthami pastime, and we have the disappearance of Srinivasa Acharya, Gadadhar Pandit, and Dhananjaya Pandit. So we will also speak about the Christmas marathon. So we'll try and put 5 classes into one. So it has been some time since I've seen all of you. I think this is the first time I'm seeing all the book distributors, most of them. Wow, special day. Of course, Rath Yatra is tomorrow. Jai Ho, Brihat Prananga Ki Jai Ho. So it's an honor to be before all the warriors. When I look at the Sankirtan devotees, I see helmets, bazookas, and black paint under the eyes, ready for battle. So let us try and say a few words about Gopasthami. This actually is a very amazing pastime of the Lord, where Lord Krishna, he enters into the Lila of distribution and heart transformation. Because, as you well know, from the age of Komara age, at the age up to 5, he had many good pastimes, killing many various demons, creating love within the hearts of his devotees. But he was only a mere tender of cows at that time. Now I'm looking at the audience here and I see what they have as a unique species called the bumblebees. Those are the shall we say, the turning, like butterflies, turning into the sapphirinites. So the bumblebees don't have big stomachs or flash-colored outfits yet. But I'm joking, guys. But the point being is that when we study Krishna Lila, it is a very powerful experience to try and apply it to our present setting. So we have the brahmacharis, the Kokbalu brahmacharis, who've been here for many years. Some may be managers, others are distributors. And this way, they have graduated from a particular field. So just as Krishna, in his Poganda Lila, between the age of 6 and 10, or 5 and 10, that he is now becoming a cowherd boy. Haribo! Similarly, some of our bumblebees will still will graduate into the brahmachari, saffron focus. Haribo! Initiation, ki jai ho! Huh? Lifetime commitments to Guru, ki jai ho. So in this way, if we study how the Lord and his Leelas create a particular mood. Now, in the Kartik Mahatmya, Padma Purana, there's one very nice shloka that describes Sukashlasmi Kartiketu Smrita Gopashtami Bodai Tadinad Vasudeva Bud Gopa Puram Tu Vapyasaha. That here is described on the 8th lunar day of the second part of Kartik. Vasudev, who was a tender of cows, accepted the dearmost position as a cowherd boy. Now this is a very big event in Vrindavan, because everyone was seeing, oh my goodness, Krishna, he's going out to the forest. Now even the gopis, now some temples, we have where the gopis want to go out and see this action. So then there's Radharani, who is her brother Subal, and this way she looked like him, so she took on his appearance. And in that way, some temples, the Radharani's feet is for the greeting of the deities is seen. Is that later on today or not done here? Okay. So in this way, the gopis, they wanted to enter into Krishna's exciting new chapter, the Poganda Lila. the chapter of where so much, shall we say, controversy and excitement came. Now, you may remember every day in Krishna's Lila at Nanda Baitak is the area where Nanda and Yashoda would set Krishna off into the forest and greet him. And there's that Stita Duli time, pastime of where between 5:30 and 6 o'clock when the cows would return from the field, and then similarly in the morning they would set out. And Mother Yashoda would be such anxiety because she was just trying to meditate how my boy, my how I say, Choti Babu, my Choti Babu Jaro, the forest, how is he going to keep his feet comfortable? And the gopis are anxiety because they're thinking, how is this Krishna going to have his feet damaged by the thorns in the forest? So in this way, Mother Yashoda once approached Krishna. Okay, you're going out every day. I want to make you some nice shoes. But Krishna said, okay, no problem. You can make nice shoes for me on one condition. You have to make shoes for all my cows. That's 4 shoes per jeev. So in this way, Mother Yashoda, what could she do? She could only express her love and affection. But when she would send Krishna out into the forest, she would say, do not go to the Kaliya Daha, very dangerous place. The Kaliya serpent is there. And don't go too close to Jamuna. Kamsa, he's sending so many demons to attack you. So Krishna says, no problem. I will always be with Balaram. Balaram is the one who possesses all strength. So Mother Yashoda and Nanda Baba, they're in complete anxiety about Krishna because he's left home. He's no longer in their purview. Sometimes you may see when a young boy or girl maybe goes outside the living room in the sight of the mother, and all of a sudden the mother runs, oh, what's this? Where's my child? Or maybe the perverted reflection in the modern age is someone's new iPhone is being used by someone else. Where's my iPhone? Oh. You see, we can see everything as a perverted reflection, as attachment. So in pure attachment, we see how Mother Yashoda was in such anxiety. She would ask the gopis, where is Krishna now? And the gopis would describe he's wearing a very wonderful red turban playing by the Jamuna, playing games in the forest. Then there was one nice pastime of where the gopis began to hear Krishna's beautiful flute sound vibration. So Mother Yashoda, when she was out in the forest, she saw this beautiful sound vibration. And she asked, who has trained him in the melodies of playing the flute? So she says, Data Vishnor Anyat Vivara Sajati. Who has trained him how to play these melodies? Now the demigods themselves would come to hear these melodious melodies. And these ragas were so intricate that the demigods, they gave up their, shall I say, ability to examine which raga was played, how he was doing this, who has trained him. So all the musical personalities, demigods, would come and surround him. It's like if you, in the early days when Ravi Shankar was going to various music, like festival or music performance. And he would sit there and play wonderfully, and then he'd have a whole tour of expert musicians around him. So similarly, the demigods and the cowherd boys would play various musical instruments to accompany Lord Krishna. I mean, earlier Krishna was just tending the cows, right? Just basically feeding them, milking them. But now he's going to the forest. Now it's a whole symphony orchestra. So much activity. But what is the Lord doing here? He is distributing his presence because it's described in the Bhagavatam, the Lord's steps, would go throughout Braj, purifying the Holy Land. So in this way, the Lord was in a distribution focus. In a few days, you're going to be, right now, you develop a distribution focus. So Krishna's mood of distributing transcendental love of God. And we can see this exemplified, that Krishna felt there was some inconsistency in his understanding of his purest devotees, for example, Radharani. So then he came as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to taste that mellow of love and to distribute transcendental knowledge. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radhe Krishna Nahai Anya. That actually the supreme personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya, is Radha and Krishna combined. So in this way, again, the Lord engages these pastimes of distribution and transformation. And he would always place his devotees in such anxiety and love. Of course, also Kamsa. Kamsa had his own anxiety. He would get dreams of Krishna or see reflections in the puddle. Wouldn't they be reflections of Kamsa without a head like this? Not very auspicious, but he'd always be thinking about, this Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. So Krishna was purifying everyone. But it's the wonder of dealing with his cows, because it is the presence of the cows which create Vrindavan atmosphere. The dust of Braj is set into the air, placed on the cowherd boys' heads. And from the cows, so many wonderful milk products are coming, providing a wonderful diet. So Braj would not be complete, because we see in Govardhan Lila that ultimately Krishna came to protect his devotees, especially the cows. So in this way, there is the presence of the cows is so worshipful. But unfortunately, in the present day and age, even in Kamsa tried, or Indra was influenced in such a negative way to attack the cows, to attack the residents of Braj. And so even Kamsa's descendants are in the present age trying to kill the cow. And even in Braj, we see there are different parties which like to capture the cow and sell them. In Barshana, they have around 50,000 cows, and many of them have been rescued from this situation. So in the present times, we can see reflections of what happened in Krishna's times. So Krishna's focusing on this whole mood of distribution and transformation. Now, if we look in the Srimad Bhagavatam, basically in the 10th canto and 64th chapter, we see the pastime of King Riga, who was a very wonderful king. He would distribute many cows daily, and each of these cows had such wonderful attire in terms of gold and jewels and very, very handsome armor in that sense. And he would distribute thousands daily. In Krishna, it's later described how Krishna would distribute 13,000 cows daily in Dwarka to all the residents. So in this way, such opulence is there, and the power, especially the glorification of the cows. We see how even when the British came, they wanted to break India. So they figured two fields on how to break the Indian culture. First of all, to destroy the cow and destroy the Gurukul culture, because that's the backbone of India. And in this way, through introducing chemical fertilizers, except because the cows were disappearing, so where was the Govar to actually nourish the different vegetables? So a plan was there. So this pastime of Krishna on Gopasthami, Krishna is illustrating the importance of taking care of the cows and creating facilities to protect the cows in various ways. So in that way, Krishna in his Leela was in a mood of distribution. Now, if we look in the pastimes of Giradhar Pandit, how he was most intimate associate and Navadvip of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he was absorbed. It's described that he was actually an incarnation of the effulgence of Srimati Radharani. Now, around Mahaprabhu, there were many personalities, but there were mostly Gopas, just like we see in Balaram, in the case of Balaram. But it was Gadadhar Pandit. He kept the mood of a gopi in serving the Lord, and he would visit the Lord's different residents, especially after the Lord left. He took shelter, visiting persons like Vishnu Priya, and in this way gave them great consolence in their difficult situation. But it is amazing, the mood of Gadadhar Pandit was simply to assist Lord Chaitanya. So one very famous pastime, everyone know about the Chankazi. He was a very angry fellow, and everyone was very fearful of making him angry. But he would go by his house. This is before the nocturnal kirtan of Mahaprabhu. He would go by his house having kirtan, and the Kazi would become very angry. But you see, Sa Mahatma Sadrulava, that actually even Chankazi, by seeing the appearance of Gadadhar Pandit, became charmed just by his look. Even we see in the example of Srila Prabhupada in Chicago airport, there was one a black janitor who was there. He became a devotee later, but he said when he saw Prabhupada coming along, and Prabhupada had his hand high in the air over the barrier because you couldn't see the people coming in. And he saw Prabhupada. He goes, that Prabhupada, I paid what they call dandivats. And that Prabhupada, even though he was small, he was tall. One of the early recollections of the series, reviewing Srila Prabhupada's pastimes. So in this way, the appearance of Gadadhar Pandit was so disarming to the Chankazi. So the Chankazi, Gadadhar Pandit said, actually, I have a few questions to ask you. Can I speak to you? Okay, speak what you like. So Gadadhar Pandit said, why have you not taken shelter of the Lord's name and pastimes in this present life? Mahaprabhu is glorifying the Lord. Why are you not taking shelter of the Lord's name? And the Chankazi said, okay, I will chant Hari tomorrow. And Gadadhar Pandit, you've already done it. You've already chanted the holy name. Why wait till tomorrow? You have chanted the holy name right now. And that was a precursor. Because then the next event would be, well, Mahaprabhu would have a nocturnal kirtan and the whole pastime of, because we knew that Chankazi had a few bad habits, breaking mridungas. And in this way, Gadadhar Pandit began to prepare the Kazi for the connection, the real heart connection with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So again, this mood of a Vaishnava like Gadadhar Pandit is a mood of distribution to transform hearts. Srila Prabhupada was always in the mood of distribution of transcendental knowledge, knowing it would transform the hearts of his dependents. So in this way, we see it is such a wonderful example of Gadadhar Pandit, how he was always focused on the mood of distribution and transformation. And Lord Chaitanya sent him to distribute transcendental knowledge in West Bengal. He also went to Nilachala, and then he returned to Navadvip for more of the Lord's pastimes. So distribution and transformation. Similarly, your authorities in a mood to transform your hearts are sending you all out. And you have, how many devotees will be staying in New Delhi? How many devotees? 160. 160 will be staying here. And then how many traveling outside? 50, 60. Okay, wow. Wow, very nice. So you are following the footsteps of the previous acharyas. Now, if we study Srinivasacharya, his was the amazing pastime where, due to his misfortune, he was not able to get the direct association of Sri Chaitanya. And even instruction was given to him that Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami would train him in the Srimad Bhagavatam. But he went on a pilgrimage, and he went to various places visiting on the way to that instruction of going to Vrindavan, get trained up. But actually, these personalities and separations from Mahaprabhu had left. So then, ultimately, he took shelter of Gopal Bhatta Goswami and his guru to teach him about the Srimad Bhagavatam was none other than Sri Jiva Goswami. So in this way, the Lord works in a wonderful way. It is not like the distance in parampara is ever less than the previous acharyas. Srila Prabhupada himself said, I'm simply repeating what has been given to me by my guru. And in this way, the parampara is live. It is completely surcharged with that connection. So Srinivasacharya, by the order of Jiva Goswami, was sent on the book distribution marathon. Haribol! And accompanying him was Shyamananda Pandit and Narottam Das Thakur, the great acharyas of the Gaudiya tradition. So as you well know, they set out because the order of Jiva Goswami is to distribute these books. Actually, it was in this way, they were sent out to present these books and also preach wonderfully. But then they came in one kingdom, and the name of the king was Achias. And he basically trained his men to pillage any of the visitors coming through the kingdom. But they had a reading by the pundits in the court. Oh, a great treasure is coming over the hill. Great value. He was thinking, oh, Haranya, gold, gold, gold. So he sent his men out, and they saw there was a caravan, and the three personalities were there, and there was a big box there. Oh, money, money's the honey. Oh, and they captured it and brought it back to the king. And the king was looking through everything. And actually, it's described that he was looking through other different boxes of wealth. And he heard that this chest, this treasure chest, this wealth has come, had come. He ran, and he opened it up, and he just saw books. Books! Oh, you fools! What have you done bringing me books? I need wealth! So then he looked. He looked in one of the books and touched one of the books. Prabhupada said, if you can they can touch the book, they become purified. What to speak of reading the book? And he read, and all of a sudden, he saw a signature of Sri Rupa Goswami at the base. And he read this, and he began to read the tattva within. And there was a purification of consciousness, there was a purification of heart. And wonderfully so. So in this way, he was thinking, how wonderful. But he kept them locked and hidden. Now, back at the campsite, you have Srinivasacharya, Narottam Das Thakur, and you have the Shyamananda Pandit, complete anxiety, what to do? What's Guruji going to say? What are we going to do? Then Srinivas, who was the leader of the party, said, look, you go and preach, and I will follow later with the books. Trikaligya, where the pure devotee can see past, present, and future. So he came actually in a dream to the king. He said that I will come to your court, and I will actually relieve you of the sins for what you have done. So the king was thinking. So then there was one scholar, so-called scholar, who was studying presenting the Bhagavatam in his particular court, and Srinivasacharya came to the court, and he listened to him, and this guy has no understanding of the Bhagavat philosophy. So he began to correct him. But sometimes the saptaha, the external saptahacharyas, some ahankar can be there. You're correcting me? Let's see you speak the philosophy, huh? I know, there's an attachment. A rag and dvesh is there. You better watch out for any, that there's blindness that comes. So then Srinivasacharya began to speak the philosophy, and he spoke for 2 hours, and everybody was completely mesmerized. They came before him, paid their obeisances. The king pays obeisances, and they and asked, "Who are you?" And he described that I'm Srinivasacharya, and I've come to your kingdom, and I have a problem. These books have gone. Can you help me bring them back? And the king took him to that one small room and showed him the book. And at that time, the Srinivasacharya was so happy, he gave him his garland. And in this way, he initiated him on the spot. So here's another example of distribution and transformation. And Srinivasacharya finally returned to his other associates and began to preach and distribute transcendental knowledge. This is the mood in parampara of distribution and transformation. Now, Dhananjaya Pandit, he was a very exalted personality. There's not so much description of his Lila, but he was known to have Sri Nityananda Ram in his heart, absorbed in always remembering the Lord and serving the Lord in this way. His mood was also distribution. So distribution and transformation. So now it comes to the Christmas marathon, how we can experience what the acharyas have experienced, how we can develop that mood, that change of heart in terms of distribution and transformation. Now, I had a dream last night because I'd heard stories of how the bumblebees are outdoing some of the brahmacharis. Working hard. How many books have the bumblebees distributed so far?
6.7 thousand.
How many?
6.7 thousand. 6,700.
6,700. And you guys start early. Mayapur, you better get your act together. So I had a dream. The bumblebees want to beat the Saffronites. Of course, Haribol! Because one brahmachari, Janava Avaduchi, showed me a particular instrument the brahmacharis have. They call it the push-push. Oh, you know the push-push? Does anybody have a push-push here? There's one push-push. For those who aren't seeing this, the push-push is a tiny bottle. You push the top, and it pushes pani out for purification. But I had this dream that I had a dream that the bumblebees each had 2 push-push. One push-push had pani, right? And the other push had charnamrita. They stole from the bowl. Now why? What am I thinking? Because they would go out in Sankirtan and put the charnamrita and then next and distribute 10 books. So anyways, anyone who wants special mercy this marathon, steal some charnamrita. Now the Charnamrita while I was over there, what's going on here? So they'll be on their guard. So in this way, you're going to be going out. You're following the order of Guru for the focus on distribution and transformation of heart. Now, I've heard that so many years have gone by, so many books are distributed, and it's wonderful. And there can be during the marathon a competitive effort, which Prabhupada, he encouraged. But the point being is that those who are seniors reflect about the previous marathons in terms of 2001, 2003, 1994, the marathons come and go. So yes, we want to distribute as many books as possible, but I say, as Prabhupada, he focused on this principle, shoot for the rhino, go for the highest goal. And the highest goal here is actually not so much putting out numbers of books, but is actually to transform our heart. Because the distribution, as I keep saying, it means distribution, heart transformation. And we see how Lord Krishna himself, from his Lila of tending cows, becoming a coward boy, he turned up the flames of engaging his devotees, making them attached to him, making them worried about him, engaging in the pastimes with his coward boys and friends, from chasing shadows to stealing one another's prasadam. Didn't Srila Prabhupada make that one comment? My only anxiety is what was in Krishna's lunchbox. Prabhupada gave different indications of his great exalted position. So yes, the pastimes of the Lord, the coward boys, was the whole focus on distribution and transformation of heart. And not only this pastime is so transcendental, those who hear about this pastime, and Srinivasacharya, his whole mood of distribution and transformation of heart, Gadadhar Pandit, how to serve Mahaprabhu in such a way to give pleasure to the Lord, to help him in the Harinam Sankirtan movement. This is all a mood which is coming down to us in Parampara. So on this marathon, please focus on thinking of the highest goal of changing our heart. And every book distributor who knows when they focus on Sankirtan in terms of becoming an instrument on behalf of the Lord, then it becomes very, very easy. And I remember one example I had, it was just before the Christmas Marathon, when I was working LAX, and I was kind of joking, because we're always calling out to the Lord and calling out to the Guru. So then I began to joke with Krishna, that just see, Ishvara Bhogi, Saranam Balavam Sukhi, just see how powerful I am. The books are going out on my power. I'm joking in my mind, not thinking like this. But I was just joking, and all of a sudden, the mercy was gone. I couldn't stop anybody. I couldn't even stop the military boys, who are the best. They're disciplined. They take the books. And I couldn't. My mantras were failing. So in this way, I learned from that one joking situation, don't ever play games out on Sankirtan. Be very, very serious. That you are not the doer. Krishna is using you. Prabhupada said to that Pujari, Mataji in Los Angeles, she said, I dressed Rukmini Dwarkadish today. But actually, Prabhupada said, you are not doing anything. The deity is dressing themselves through you. So in the same way, the books have already been distributed. Everything by the Lord is distributed. Do you want to become a willing participant in the distribution in this marathon? Then it becomes very, very easy. And if you think of the highest goal of, please, Lord, transform my heart in service to you, then unlimited books will go. And I was told yesterday, even the Pujaris are distributing books from the altar. How many books were distributed last marathon from the altar? How much? 2,100. 2,500. Wow, that's like. I can imagine, Bajjar. You see this? This is Bhagavan. You take a book from me, and you'll make so much spiritual advancement. And you want good things to come your way, sir? Well, just take a book, especially in front of the deity. I'm just pressured there, you know. Like in LA, we would say, you ever heard about yoga? You ever heard about stress? Have you ever heard about peace? Yeah. Well, this book talks about yoga and meditation, how to become free from stress. And they would take the book so nicely. We'd always present a mantra like that. Get the donation, then you can say as much as you want about the book. Of course, everyone, like Madhusudhan, has his mystic powers, you know. Someone told me it was given 33,000 rupees one time. Not bad. Wow. But mystical things happen during the marathon. And if you focus on this highest goal of transformation of consciousness, Then Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam, Krishna will give you all intelligence of how to push this marathon. But even better than performing wonderfully in the marathon, how to delegate the empowerment to encourage others to enter into a marathon, to continue the marathon. When the marathon ends, your sadhana will be much more strict, but at the same time, you have to focus on distribution. The purpose of your sadhana is, again, to change the heart. And the purpose of distribution is to change the heart. So it becomes a lifelong affair, not just a few days, a few weeks, a few months, but lifetime. And as you all mature, you can be empowered to help others do the same. So these are a few thoughts on today that we can learn from these disappearances and from Gopashtami, the Lord's pastimes. And now you're on the marathon to simply focus on distribution and heart transformation. Hare Krishna. Is there any questions we have? I guess you're late. Questions or comments? Okay. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam. Oh, yes, you have one. Gopashtami? It's basically, I thought I was saying, is in terms of Gopasthami. They are generally considered non-different. Huh? They're generally considered non-different. They're non-different. So we spoke about the cows. So this is the worship of the cows in all respects. Okay, Hare Krishna. Have a wonderful, wonderful marathon. Hare Bo. Hare Krishna.